The Beast in the Snow. The sight of the dead sheep made my stomach flutter. Blood stained the snow. The sheep seemed to look at me with one cold eye. The animal's face had a look of surprise, as if to ask, "What's happening?" There were three more sheep, just like this one, sprawled in the snowy pasture. "Can't be coyotes," Mr. Evans said, spitting into the feathery snow. "Just can't figure it." The tracks around the animals looked like canine tracks, but the strange thing was that a two-legged animal had made these tracks. "Maybe a bear," my cousin Dylan said. "Bears rise up on two legs. They like the taste of sheep, too." "Ain't no bear eater," Nestor said. "I have seen a bear if I was to come down. Besides, it's winter. All the bears are hibernating till spring." I was getting cold and tired. I was hungry, but not anymore. My stomach felt sick. I wanted to wish Mr. Evans a grand farewell and get out of there as fast as possible. "We'd better get back to the cabin," I said to Dylan. "It's going to be dark soon, and Uncle Bill will get worried about us. We've been gone too long as it is." "Don't worry," Dylan said with a dismissive tone. "We're going to fly like the wind over that snow." He patted the hood of the snowmobile. "Yeah," I said, "but I actually want to get back to the cabin alive." "Meaning what?" "Meaning," I said, "you drive Uncle Bill's snowmobile like a maniac, and I don't want to end up in a ditch or wrapped around a tree. We should get back now so we don't have to fly. We can just cruise." "You boys better get on your way," Nestor said. His wrinkled, almond-shaped eyes always looked sad. The cold air seemed to deepen the ridges in the old skin around his mouth. The stubble on his chin was as white as the snow. "If you can't bring my sheep back to life, you're not much good to me, unless you find out what did this to my stock. That would be a big help." "We'll keep an eye out, Nestor," I said. "Let's get moving, Dylan." The snowmobile snarled over the snowy plains like a mechanical line on the prow. The wind roared in my ears. Dylan said something to me, but I couldn't make it out over the wind whipping past. He was just showing off. He was always showing off. Last summer, he had dared me to jump off a 50-foot cliff into the lake when we went fishing with Uncle Bill. I stood on the edge and stared down at the clear blue water. It was so clear I could see the rocks in the bottom of the lake. I lost my nerve. Not Dylan. He jumped. Then, just to prove how tough he was, he did it again. He never let me forget it either. "Say kids are just too scared," he said. I grew up in the city and he lived in the country, but I wasn't scared. I just wasn't stupid. Dylan was always trying to outdo me. He's really competitive, which is probably why he's so good at sports. Dylan and Uncle Bill thought I was missing something living in the city, so they would take me on fishing trips in the summer, and we'd come up to the cabin in the winter to go snowmobiling and stuff. Except Dylan would always hog the snowmobile. I barely got to drive it at all. The sun had gone down. Everything looked on a pink and golden coloring, which looked beautiful. It would be dark soon. I got dark fast up there in the mountains. There were no streetlights. That's one advantage of living in the city. You can always see what you're doing, even at night. "How close are we to the cabin?" I shouted over the roar of the snowmobile engine and the frosty wind that bit my ears and nose. I had to repeat the question 3 times before Dylan said, "Just about a quarter mile." Then he added, "Watch this." Suddenly, we were rocketing across the snow at top speed. I held on tight. "This is stupid," I shouted. "Slow down." He went faster. Whomp! We hit something and the snowmobile shuddered. "Oh no," I heard Dylan say. Then we slowed down and stopped. I climbed off the back of the snowmobile. I noticed that one of the skids, the one on the right, had busted loose and scared across the snow without us. "Looks like we hit a stump or something," Dylan said, retracting the tread tracks in the snow. "There," he pointed to a dark shape that jutted out of the snow. I could have said, "Maybe if we weren't going so fast, you would have seen the stump in time," but I didn't. It would just start a useless argument. Now what? I asked instead, which was more constructive. Now one of us has to hoof it back to the cabin and have Dad come out here with our machine and toolkit. I shivered in the cold. Why can't we both go? I wondered. You'd better go, Dylan said. Moving around will keep you warm. Besides, what if somebody comes and wants to steal the snowmobile or something? I thought he was being paranoid. There was no one around for miles, but I didn't say anything again. I wanted to stay constructive. All right, I'll go, I said. By the time I was maybe halfway back to Uncle Bill's cabin, it was dark. I could see only the dim outline of trees against the snow. Over the mountain, I could see a bright light. It looked like the moon was rising. With luck, I'd have more light. Then I heard it, a howl. It was sharp and piercing as the cold. It sent a shiver through my body and made me feel even colder. Another howl came. My legs moved faster. I trudged through the snow as fast as I could. I had no idea what made the howl or how close the howlmaker was, but I didn't want to find out. My guess was it was what had killed Nestor Evans' sheep. Maybe it was afraid of people. Maybe not. I wasn't about to investigate. I had gone more than 20 yards when I saw a dark form standing in my path. It was large and stood on two legs. It moved quickly toward me. I turned and ran in the opposite direction. I had moved only a few steps when I was knocked down into the snow. The icy cold burned my face. Then I was grabbed and turned over. I was face to face with a wolf creature. It wasn't a wolf. Wolves don't stand on two legs. And it was wearing clothes. I noticed its torn pants. The same old ratty jeans that Nestor Evans had worn. Was Nestor a werewolf? Was he killing his own sheep and not realizing it? The monster's breath was hot, and it stank. It smelled like dog breath, but 10 times worse. Rotten breath. The breath of death. Cruel yellow eyes peered into mine. I could feel the teeth at my neck. I closed my eyes. I thought of the sheep and how they must have felt seconds before they were torn to shreds. The last thing I heard was a sharp crack, and then everything went dark. We almost lost you, I heard a voice say. It was Uncle Bill. If I hadn't been out looking for you boys. I opened my eyes. I was back at the cabin. I was lying by the pot-belly stove, wrapped in blankets. You alright, cousin? Dylan said for the first time ever. My cousin looked terrified. I got up. My side hurt. Watch it there, my uncle said. You got yourself a nice deep scratch. The thing, I heard myself say. The thing that almost got me. Uncle Bill pointed to his rifle on the wall. It's gone. I lay back down and sighed with relief. I felt like the luckiest person alive. Death had stared me down, but I survived. In the morning, my uncle said, I'll take you down to the mountain to see a doctor and file a report, but now you need to rest. I'll be right here for you, cousin, Dylan said, patting my shoulder. You're braver than I thought, braver than I would have been. I smiled. I felt alive, really awake and alive for the first time in years, and hungry. I was very hungry for meat. I had this craving for meat, and that I couldn't seem to shake. Raw meat. Sounds gross, I know, but that's what I felt like eating. Then it hit me. I once saw this old black and white movie on TV about a wolf man. In the movie, this old lady said that whoever is bitten by a werewolf and lives becomes a werewolf too. Was there some truth to that corny old movie? Was I going to become just like Nestor Evans? Was I going to sprout hair and fangs at the next full moon? I was sweating under those blankets next to the potbelly stove. I would have to wait and see. Does the narrator of this terrifying tale become a night-stalking werewolf during the next month's full moon? That's up to you to decide. So, time for the werewolf joke of the story. Why did the werewolf let the millionaire go? It was avoiding rich food. Well, hope you liked the story. And remember, once again, be sure or tell me how you would end a beast in the snow. Oh. Well, that completes this werewolf story. So we only have one left. It's my least favorite, but I'm still going to read it. So, Anyway, with that out of the way, be sure to tell me your ending and how you'd end this. And until next time, this is Spirit the Alpha signing out. I'll see you guys back in the pack. Howoo!